There we go. Bit brighter in here. How's it going, everyone? Who's ready for an interesting qualifying session? Right. Not long to go, less than 15 minutes until we find out who's going to be on pole till qualifying starts, and then we've got an hour until we find out who's going to be on pole position. It's going to be an interesting one. Morning, Trouty McTrout. Morning from Canada. Yes, it's afternoon here, thankfully. Nice afternoon session. Makes a change. Morning, Root. Morning, everyone. Right. Just waiting for the timing screens to get up to date, and then we can change scene and we'll be ready to rock and roll. What else am I getting here? I wanted to find out sectors leaderboard, who's fastest in what. Clear the airwaves. Did I fix my pedal? I'd say it's like it's usable, but it's not where it should be. A screw in the back has threaded, and the inside it's not as tight as it should be, and I'm getting a little bit of extra travel, so I'm having to recalibrate and stuff. So yeah, it's not great. No. I've also got, by the way, I'm not sponsored by these, but Monster, if you're watching, sponsor me. Give me free stuff. You watch Rick and Morty. Nintendo, give me free stuff. It's a Lewis Hamilton one. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. I genuinely do just like the taste of this one. And it's not because of him either. It's, what flavor is it actually? I don't know what flavour it is. It's got like a sweet taste to it, so I like that. Right, we are ready. I'm loving this that the these timing screens are getting up to date quicker. Right, let's go. Hey Mark, welcome back. Right, so that can go a bit bigger. And that can go there. See, this is what I do for you guys. I watch my streams back and I notice where stuff can be improved. Certain things we're covering. Covering parts that you... That one, there we go. Make it a bit wider. Bosh, there we go. Right, cool. Could I put the radiographic top left of the track? I can't, unfortunately. No. It this isn't quite as customizable yet, so I can't extract stuff. I mean, I've got this here, right? But I can't make it any smaller than that. Like it just, oh, maybe I can. It kind of goes like that, but I mean, you don't see enough, so I can't adjust the font size. That's the annoying thing about this at the moment, is that you can't adjust by font. Because otherwise I'd make some certain things here a bit smaller and that, so... I'll keep you up to date, but yeah, no, it is a little bit frustrating, but primarily what I wanted for you guys is to be able to see, obviously, all this data on here that I'm referring back to you, so you can see the gap, the intervals, the sector times, etc. That's what's most important, so... Hey, George. You're on the way home. I did see you on the bus. Did see you on the bus after spending lots of money in Primark. Right. Maybe I can remove the chat. I could do, Kim, but I'm not. I don't really want to, because primarily, if people watch, I know that people watch this back, and also people, the way YouTube works with how you see chat isn't quite seamless yet. Like when you watch it on a TV or a mobile, like it just really reduces the size of the screen, and I don't kind of want to do that. I want the chat to be there so that you at least know kind of what I'm responding to. And yeah, it means that you don't have to run chat alongside the actual content. So it means that you can just have this full screen and still see what people are saying. I know obviously you still need to open it to like type something, but yeah. Quali starts on the hour, Josh. On the hour. So if you're just joining us, thank you very much. Less than 9 minutes until qualifying gets underway. Probably the most exciting qualifying session we have had in 3 years, probably. Because Red Bull definitely look like they're on the back foot. They don't look like they're at the races here this weekend. We all know what Max Verstappen can do, but even so, I don't think he's going to pull out 3 to 2 temps on what is already a very quick Ferrari and McLaren. So my hot takes before we ended last stream, the practice session from this morning, is that I think we are not going to see a Red Bull in the top 3. Wouldn't surprise me if the top 4 positions are taken by those 4 drivers right now. And my other hot take was that I think one of the top 6 drivers, so unfortunately you Mercedes fans out there, myself included, I don't consider Hamilton or Russell in the top 6 this weekend. And I think one of the McLarens, Ferraris, or the Red Bulls will be in the barrier or in the wall come the end of qualifying. So I just think the way that, especially the way that Red Bull's driving at the moment, and we saw Perez bin it, we saw Alonso bin it, this track is punishing. It's very punishing, especially when you're trying to go as fast as you can. But yeah, my predictions are Leclerc P1, Norris P2, Piastri P3, Sainz P4. Those are my top 4. I think Verstappen will be 5th. It wouldn't surprise me if Sainz split up that order somewhat. But yeah, I do think the top 4, what we see now, will be the top 4. Evening for Sri Lanka. Welcome. Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, I mean, that's what I try and keep all of my videos clean. I hate clutter. So I only want stuff that's relevant. So yeah, I try and keep stuff as clean as possible. That's just from my own like viewing pleasure as well. So yeah. Hey Mazin. But yeah, welcome everyone. Over 100 of you in here for this qualifying session. Please hit the like button, and as always, see that number in the middle of your screen? Let's get that going up. Let's get that closer to 22,000. Maybe we can hit 22,000 in today's stream. That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, afternoon everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Yes, only a couple of minutes away. So, who do we think is going to be on pole? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a poll. Let's engage with the audience, as YouTube says. Can I do 5? Is it 5 options? I think we can do 5 options. Let's have a look. 1. I can only do 4. That's a shame. Okay, so I'm going to leave Sainz out. Sorry, Sainz fans. Sorry. I do think he could be out there, but just because of what it is at the moment. There we go. It's pole. Who's going to be on pole position? You predict a major surprise during qualifying. Well, yes, this is the thing. So, because of the nature of this track, we've seen, obviously, a lot of drivers go off. Oh, God, sorry. Lots of drivers go off, and, well, if anyone's out there early and they bin it, then everyone else behind them is kind of screwed. So you need to get a banker lap in pretty quickly. The first 2 qualifying sessions are going to be, I think every qualifying session is going to be interesting today. I'm really intrigued for how this is going to play out. Qualifying is important as well. There's a lot of emphasis on this circuit. It's not as bad as Monaco, but there is kind of realistically only one opportunity to overtake here, which is down into T2. So at the end of the straight. So there's not many places to overtake here, so track position is key. So yeah, and with how close qualifying has been already this season, with the difference of what just a couple of temps can make you, 2 temps difference or a 10th difference can be the difference between you starting alongside the front row and starting down in P9. That's how close it's been, and I think we're going to see that again today. So yeah, really interested to see. Will we see a Stroll pole? Not today. Pretty much guarantee that, and I'm not normally 100% certain on things, but I'm pretty sure. Reckless fault, but with GR signing. I don't think it's a reckless fault at all, Aaron. That is my exact prediction. I've said it a few times, yeah. That is my prediction. I genuinely think Max will not be in Red Bull in 2026. And I think they're putting a lot of eggs. They're prepping Kimi for F1 100%. The only thing that might change that is that they might keep Kimi in, because he's got youth on his side. They might keep Kimi in a Williams seat, as an example, for a bit longer than say 1 season, because he's only turning 18 this year. Look, he's probably going to be in F1 before the end of this season. They could keep him in that seat for 3 years and he'll still only be 21. So, like in Williams as an example. But if he's showing promise, they did always say that they kept George Russell in that Williams seat for probably a year too longer than they should. He was in there for 4 years. So I think they want to learn from the mistakes of not missing out on a Max Verstappen type person and holding someone back a bit longer than they should have done. So I signed with Audi for 2026 to bring the bottles of water to Audi drivers. Hey, look, it probably pays well. Hey, Manuel, good to see you. Who's my bottom 3, Josh? It'll be Zhou, Sargent, Bottas. Oh no, sorry, I'm going bottom 5. Bottom 3 will be Zhou and Sargent in there, and I think Magnussen. I think bottom 5 will be in no particular order though. Zhou, Sargent, Magnussen, Bottas, and one of the Alpines. I don't know which Alpine. Give Logie a chance. He just had a hard talk with James. Yeah, I did see that. I just think there's, look, it's not being horrible to people, but sometimes you're just not as good as others, and I just don't think he has it. Has he shown, genuine question to those of you in the chat, have you seen any performance in the last year and a half that has made you go, wow, at Sargent? I don't think he's out-qualified Albon at all. Like, not once, I don't think he's out-qualified Albon since he's joined. And there's not one single race performance where I've gone, wow. Yeah, I mean, this kid's got it. Like, I can see why they brought him in. I mean, other drivers you can... I mean, I know Lance Stroll's got 8 years on Logan Sargent, but Lance Stroll has shown a couple of flashes, hasn't he? I haven't seen a single flash from Logan Sargent in the last year and a half. And qualifying is underway, guys. The most anticipated qualifying in 3 years, I think I can confidently say there. Here we go. Gasly and Ocon out there first. Guan Yu Zhou. The usual suspects. Albon, Hulkenberg. George Russell's also lining up there. My wow moment for Logan was when he was P6 in Vegas on QUALI. Was he? Was he actually? I just think like there's been times when he's. Oh, actually no, yeah, that was that, but yeah, but wasn't he? Didn't he get his lap time deleted? Something like that. Ooh, George Russell out there on the medium tyres, so they're saving an extra set of softs. So yeah, everyone's starting to trudge down to the end of the pit lane now. This is going to be a very, very tricky qualifying session, guys. Of course, this track, there's not a lot of room. It's very quick. We've already seen a few temper tantrums in regards to drivers being in the way and potentially impeding in practice sessions. But this is now the business end of the weekend. We have qualifying ahead of us. And, well, if you get in the way, you're most definitely going to get a penalty for the race. But the Hamilton's out there on a set of softs compared to George's on a set of mediums. So, right, here we go. Gasly, first flying lap. So what we've seen thus far on some quali runs is around the 116 mark. Will Gasly be able to get below that 116 mark? Let's see. I did see Albon in FP3 do a 116.3, I think it was. So if you're looking at Albon as a benchmark, that's what he needs to better in this session. So heading down, he's not really going to get held up by any traffic as Sainz is now coming out of the pit lane. You can see there. I think Hamilton's not on a lap, but he'll be on his tyre on his warm up. So he will have to get out of the way of Gasly here, I think, as they head up to Variante Alta, the chicane where Perez lost it earlier on. So Gasly was a bit slow through that first sector. A 24.4 is slow. The quickest we saw earlier on today, or this week thus far, is a 23.7 from Oscar Piastri. Around a 24 mark is quite good, as Ocon is going purple and smashing his teammates' time apart at the moment. So 26.7 from Gasly in the middle sector. And here we go as he crosses the line to set the first time of the weekend in qualifying. And a 117.2 is very slow. Very slow, if you ask me, from Gasly. As you can see, his teammate Ocon smashes that by over 0.6 of a second. So yeah, Gasly there struggling with that first lap, and yeah, not really got the temperature into those tyres most likely. As Russell is now going quickest, purple in the first sector. That's what we were keeping an eye on. A 24.0 in sector 1. Logie Bear in there with a 17.1. At least he's beating Gasly at the moment. At least he's beating Gasly. But here goes Hulkenberg. How can he do? No purples on screen for Hulkenberg. And he only goes up to a 17.3. Not a good start for the Haas drivers either. Well, I say that. I could be speaking too soon as Magnussen comes across the finish line. And it's much better from him. But, though, still not great. Only just breaking a 17-second barrier. 117-second barrier. And Russell, even on that medium tyre, decides to come into the pit lane and not set an actual lap on those mediums. So maybe they just wanted to scrub them. I'm not sure about that. But Stroll, only in P2, nearly 0.3 slower than Esteban Ocon. Not great from him. So, Sainz is also on the mediums as well. Hamilton up there. Wow. Slow from Hamilton. Slow. Really slow in the middle sector. So he's had a wobble somewhere in the middle sector. He was 6th fastest at this moment in time in the middle sector for Lewis Hamilton. So 0.3 slower than Esteban Ocon. So he's mucked it up somewhere in the middle sector, most likely through Aqua Minerale. But we can see that at the moment, who have we got out there? So Logan Sargent had his lap time deleted for track limits at turn 3. So he's now, yeah, last, pretty much last. So Leclerc and Sainz both on medium compound tyres as well. Are they even going to set a lap, or are they just going to do what George Russell did? Ooh, Albon fastest in the first sector. Go on, Albono. Why aren't others in pit still? Because they're waiting. Probably not got a lot of tyres to use, that's why. Yeah, waiting for the track to rubber in. The thing is, as well, is that the I think the soft compound tyre isn't a tyre that's going to be used in the race, so they've probably used more of them throughout practice this weekend, so they don't have a lot to hand. So, there you're at. So let's see what Albon does. Leclerc on the medium tyres, a 16.4, shows how quick that Ferrari is here this weekend. Sainz putting a purple last sector in, but not a great first sector from him. He made a mistake there somewhere, 7/10 slower than his teammate Charles in the first sector, so that's where he lost all of his time. Oh, Albon, where has he made a mistake there? Oh, he's gone so slow in that last sector. He's lost almost a second there in that last sector. He would have been down in the 16.4s. So Albon there having a wobble in the last sector, which we've seen a lot of people do. Alonso is out on circuit, so the mechanics of the Aston Martin team were able to fix that car that he crashed earlier on today. And Albon, track limits at turn 18, so he ran wide out of the last corner, Albon, which cost him a considerable amount of time. Of course, there's no runoff area there. It is just gravel as Max Verstappen. Let's keep an eye on Max. Let's see how quick that Red Bull actually is over a single lap. As I'm watching Albon's time, and he just went too wide, Albon, out the last corner, and that's thrown away what would have been a good lap for him. But as Lando Norris went to the top of the timing sheets here as 16.1, let's see how Verstappen does. He's going to have to handle a bit more traffic than what Lando has done thus far. But Verstappen, a 23.9, fastest in the first sector at the moment. Out of anyone, that is only just faster than Alex Albon, of all people. So here he goes, heading up through turn 9. Very quick left-hander. No runoff there now anymore, just gravel as they head down into Aqua Minerale. This is the sector the Red Bull has been struggling with all week, as Perez goes second with a 16.4. So Verstappen, Hulkenberg getting out of his way into Variante Alta. The chicane where Perez lost it in FP3, as Verstappen does go fastest in the second sector. So he has hooked this lap up thus far, but how will he handle the two Ravats? There's also two corners that he's been struggling with, as Alonso goes P6, a 16.9 from him. So a lot of differences and a lot of spread in time at the moment across the field, it seems, as Max comes across the finish line and does a 1:16.0 for his first timed lap in this qualifying session. So a good lap time for him, but Piastri's going quicker than Verstappen at the moment, as he's gone fastest in the first sector. He's the fast. He set P1. He was in P1, sorry, in FP3, and Piastri does look to be really comfortable in that McLaren this weekend with the upgrades that Lando Norris had last time out at Miami. They're now on the car of Piastri. Let's see how he gets on. Slightly, when I say slightly, you're talking 0.03 of a second slower than Max Verstappen in that middle sector there. So he is still ahead of Max provisionally as he comes through turn 17, the first Ravazza, then turn 18. Going to see lots of people here probably exceed track limits out of turn 18, but he seems to have got through it quite comfortably. And he goes into the top of the timing sheets with our first sub 16 second, 1:16, time today in this qualifying. 1:15.9 from Oscar Piastri. I tell you what, Oscar's looking on fire at the moment, but only 0.07 of a second between Piastri and Verstappen there. But we have a very, very busy circuit at the moment, as George Russell has now gone fastest in the first sector. So the track is definitely ramping up, and guys are going faster and faster. There's purples kind of all over the place. Not too bad from Russell in the middle sector as well. So let's keep an eye out on George. I think he's not going to have to deal with any traffic here, as no one's backing up out of the last corner. So can he hook up the last couple of corners here and ensure that he doesn't run wide out of turn 18? Then this should be a much better lap time for the Mercedes. Let's see, on a brand new set of softs as he comes through turn 19 across the finish line, and he goes third. Only 1.6 tenths behind Piastri, and that's a great lap time from the Mercedes of George. I didn't think they kind of really get that close today. But wow. Oh, it's a yellow. And there's a yellow, and Logan Sargent is going slow. Did he have a wobble there? Was he on a lap? No, or was it just him moving out of the way? I think Logan Sargent's just had an off, as Gasly's gone fastest in the second sector. This track is really ramping up right now, as Gasly has set purple in the middle sector, but then that's swiftly been taken away by Charles Leclerc. Let's keep an eye out on this as Sainz is coming across the finish line on a medium set of compound tyres and does a 16 flat. Oh my God. On a set of mediums. Jesus. As Gasly goes full fast, it's a 1:16.0. There's nothing to separate the top 5 at the moment. Well, the top 4. But you can see how quickly this track is ramping up. But Carlos Sainz has gone 3rd on a set of used mediums, as well as Leclerc on 5th on a set of used mediums also. Only one. Charles Leclerc was fastest in the middle and last sector on a set of used mediums. Then those around him who have been on a fresh set of softs. That just shows, one, either how good the Ferrari is, which we know it is this week with the new upgrades, but also how quickly this track is ramping up. Yuki's cooking in P8. Yep. So, we've only got 6.5 minutes left, guys, of this first qualifying session. And it's panning out to be a good one. There's not a lot separating the field as Norris goes fastest with a 15.9. Beating his teammate thus far with 0.02 of a second. And Alonso is going to be getting a bit of a benefit here by Norris as he heads down into turn 2. So Alonso would have been thanking Lando Norris as he went past him there. Thank you very much. But, oh no, Alonso's gone slow. Alonso's going slow through turn 4, and I think Alonso's had an off there through turn 4, and this is what I'm saying. These guys are pushing, and there's no room for error at this circuit. The yellow flag has not come out, but we can see that Alonso was on a flying lap, and he's gone off the track there. No doubt it will come up with track limits exceeded, but Logan Sargent replay being shown that he did indeed go off the track at turn 6. But Alonso there, likewise through turn 4, has just gone off. I'm just about to watch the TV coverage of it now as they're on board with him. But I tell you what, I think my prediction, these guys are pushing, and I think they're definitely going to be, there's going to be someone in the barrier at some point. But Alonso here, just watching him through turn 4, and yes, he went off at turn 4, Alonso. Carried too much speed through the chicane, of course, getting the benefit of that toe from Lando down the start-finish straight there. But Alonso, well, he's in danger zone in P16. Yes. This is going to be an interesting quali, guys. Ooh, I'm excited. Hope you are too. But, yeah, we'll see. Ferraris look ominous, though. The fact the Ferraris are... Leclerc is 1.8 tenths off of Norris and basically Piastri there on a set of used mediums, and Sainz is only 1 tenth exactly off of Norris and Piastri on a set of used mediums is like scary good. So we'll see. But look how tight it is there. Gasly, what did Gasly throw in there? Gasly threw in definitely going to see better lap times. So at the moment, Logan Sargent yet to complete a lap. He's had 2 lap times deleted thus far down in P20. Alex Albon had a good lap time that was going to be on the board, but unfortunately ran wide at turn 18. So he also had a lap time deleted. He's down in P19. Zhou in 18th. Hulkenberg 17th. Alonso 16th. Magnussen 15th. Ricciardo not quite as comfortable around this circuit as what Yuki Tsunoda is. And this is nothing to take away from Yuki Tsunoda, guys, and you Yuki fans. But Yuki Tsunoda has done probably more laps at this circuit than any of the other drivers on this grid. He's done a number of testing here. AlphaTauri is only just down the road as well from this circuit, so they've done lots of filming days, lots of testing. He did lots of testing when he was being eyed up for the seat as well, initially for AlphaTauri. So this is a track that he feels comfortable at, and he has to capitalise on this advantage that he has over Daniel Ricciardo and others around him. But yeah, good performance from him thus far. As we said, his aim for this weekend would definitely be to get into Q3. As Albon finally sets a lap time into P12, he just probably wanted to get a banker in there. Might get another opportunity with this cooldown lap to go again. We will see. It does seem to be that you don't necessarily have to use the first set of tyres, the first lap that you run to set the fastest qualifying lap. It kind of seems to be that 2 out laps, or at least 1 fast lap, slow, like cool down lap, and then going again is quickest for you. Who's struggling down? We get out of Q2. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's comfortable. Doesn't seem like he's comfortable in the car. Hasn't looked it thus far. So here goes Alonso for another time around. Let's see how he handles this as he heads through the first chicane and makes his way down to turn 4. No off tracks this time around for him, as he's currently sitting down in 17th place. He needs to get a lap time on the board. This is the treachery of EMILIA, guys, is that there is no room for error with all of these gravel traps, as he heads round through the hairpin of turn 7 and all the way up through to the fast left-hander of turn 9. They have to be very careful here not to run wide anymore. No more concrete off-track for them, or tarmac off-track. So it's just gravel. If you run wide, it's very treacherous. Now down into the sharp braking zone of Aqua Minerale, where we saw Lewis Hamilton lose it on FP1 yesterday. He seems to have got through that quite nicely, but he's slow through the first sector. 24.4 for him. That is currently the 15th fastest, well, 16th, not even 16th fastest sector. That is, oh, I'll tell you what, that's that first sector Fernando Alonso set was a 19, well, he's backed out. Looks like he's backed out. 39.0 in that middle sector for Fernando. So yeah, he's had a mistake somewhere for Fernando Alonso, and he's struggling. That first sector was the the slowest time we've actually seen through the first sector out of anyone. So that wasn't great for Fernando. I wonder if he's coming back into the pit lane, and unfortunately, Fernando Alonso is going to be out of this first Q1 session. Wow, big shock for him. Alonso not going to be able to set a lap time, and Alonso will be out as Hulkenberg is going fastest in the middle sector here. A purple there in the middle sector. He's gone sub 24 seconds through the first sector. Hulkenberg here could, honestly, if he hooks up this last couple of corners, could go to the top of your timing sheets. He's fastest in the first sector. He's 5th fastest in the first sector, as Verstappen's now gone fastest in the first sector as well. The track is definitely ramping up here as Hulkenberg jumps to the top of your timing sheets. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you guys. A Haas is currently in P1 in this Q1 session, but that just indicates that this story is not yet over, as this track is truly ramping up, because Nico Hulkenberg is fastest through the first sector and Verstappen's gone slow in the second sector. Well, I say slow, it's just not as fast as his fastest middle sector. It's actually not too bad, but he's going to be improving here, Max, as long as he hooks up turns 17 and 18, the two Ravazzas. Let's keep an eye out on him, as the two McLarens have come into the pit lane. They think they're safe. Gasly also thinks he's safe. So does Magnussen and Russell here, as Verstappen, is he going to go top of the timing sheets? He is, with a 15.7, but only 700ths or 800ths of a second faster than that of Hulkenberg. As Ricciardo drags himself out of the bottom 5. So who's still at risk here? Guan Yu Zhou and Bottas. Let's see, is Yuki going to improve here? He should be comfortable, Yuki, as he also goes 3rd. Oh, it's just so close. Love it, as Zhou has also admitted failure as he comes into the pit lane. But how about Logan Sargent? No, Logan Sargent's out. Logan Sargent's out, and there's no one else. Bottas has completed his lap times as well. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Everyone's crossed the line. So Hamilton. Lucky boy. Lucky boy. Jesus. Hamilton getting through by the skin of his teeth. 800ths of a second there. Hamilton, but wow. Yeah, Alonso, only driver, I think, not to... Well, he did set a lap time, but very, very slow. Having issues there as Yuki Tsunoda threw it into the last corner and almost ran wide. That could have ended very badly for Yuki there, considering that was only Q1. But yes, we have lost Alonso, Magnussen, Zhou, Sargent, Bottas, and Hamilton has got through by the skin of his teeth. Bottas there only 200ths of a second behind the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, but it doesn't bode well for Lewis getting through into Q3, does it, at the moment? Because, wow. Yeah, I mean, Leclerc at the end there as well, also going second. Leclerc is... Oh, those Ferraris look so good, man. Leclerc P2 on a set of used mediums is scary. Scary. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That is scary by the Ferraris getting through there in mediums. Wow. There we go, guys. There we go. This is going to be a great rest of this qualifying. The track is ramping up. The track has no room for error. We've already seen Albon go off, Sargent go off twice, Alonso go off. Love it, man. Love it. Old school circuit. That's what we want. That's what we love to see. Proper F1. No rain, as the chart says. Yeah, no rain today. Might be some tomorrow. Haven't seen the forecast. Potentially. Potentially. So, drink. Oh, I've got one, George. Thanks. Let's see if Hulkenberg creates the best time. Yeah. Leclerc pole, but Verstappen for the win. What's my opinion? My opinion still stands. But I do think it will be the two. I do still think that it will be Leclerc, Norris, Piastri. However, that could quite change. I mean, it's ominous. I do think Leclerc is going to get a comfortable pole position here now. I do. But this track, we've seen it. It can bite you. It can really bite you before you even think. But just so you know that how like skew-if the sector times are. Verstappen was fastest in the first sector. Hulkenberg was fastest in the second, and Leclerc on used tyres, medium tyres, was fastest in the last sector. And he was only just a smidgen, and I mean a smidgen slower than Hulkenberg in the second sector on medium tyres. So like, yeah, Leclerc is zoned in. He's tuned in. Hamilton was slowest through the middle sector. So I think he made a big boo-boo there. Half a second slower. So that's obviously with Akram and Minerali. So I think Hamilton's very, very fortunate to get through. But yeah, not long till we go again, guys. Not long till we go again. So yeah, if you can, guys, if there are 1,000 of you in here, welcome, welcome. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Go on, hit that subscribe button. You see that number in the middle of your screen there? That's our sub count. Let's tick it over like a slot machine and get that higher. And let's get this stream to 500 likes. Come on, half of you can hit the like button as well. Go on. I know it might seem trivial, and I'm the same. I was very much like, the like button doesn't do anything, but trust me, it actually does. The algorithm loves it. It's engagement. Oh wow, Magnussen got impeded. Who did he get impeded by there? Oh no. Oh, is that Oscar Piastri potentially getting a penalty for impeding Kevin Magnussen there? Oh, don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't give Oscar Piastri a penalty. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. That weren't great. It wasn't great. So, thanks, Dan. Yeah, thanks, everyone. First time watching this, Kristen. Where have you been? Where have you been? This is I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but best watch-along, F1 watch-along? I'm lying. I am totally biased. Right. So I don't know why they probably just wanted to sweep off a bit of gravel there in between turn 4 and 5 with Alonso's off. But yeah, I mean, my prediction still stands. I still think we're going to see someone in the wall come the end of qualifying. So, you watched last time in 2021? God, that's ages ago. Piastri impeded Magnussen. I know, James. I know. It doesn't look good. I won't lie. It doesn't look good. I really hope he gets the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, it doesn't look great. And Magnussen also going out in Q1 could say that's the reason why I didn't set a better lap time. So he's also got that kind of leg to stand on. Not that it really matters. Not that Magnussen really cares now because he's out. No, like Piastri getting a penalty for him now is not going to get him out of Q1. But but yeah, Q2. If Q1's anything to go by, Q2 is going to be very interesting as we're seeing cars make their way to the end of the pit lane, and we have 15 laps, 15 minutes of this Q1 session. So I'm actually going to stop the poll. And interestingly, 614 votes, and 43% of you think it's Charles Leclerc who's going to be on pole position. 42%, sorry, 29% say Max, and 19% say Norris, 8% say Piastri. Interesting. For the first time in probably 3 years that people are expecting Max Verstappen not to get pole position, considering Max has got a 100% record of pole positions when it's been a Grand Prix weekend. That is saying something, isn't it? That is saying something. But the fact of it, I kind of tend to agree. The fact Leclerc was so ominous there on the medium tyres was, yeah. But we have 2 Mercedes drivers out there now. Q2 is underway. So, guys, let me know in chat, who do you think is going to be out of Q2 here? Are we going to see a big scalp? Do we think we're going to lose one of the Mercedes drivers? Do we think we're going to lose potentially a Red Bull, a McLaren, a Ferrari? Someone going to crash? Who do we think? Stroll? Well, yeah, Stroll's definitely going to be out. I'm more surprised if Stroll gets into Q3 than if he goes out in Q2. Why would anyone be surprised at Hulkenberg being quick? Never really, yeah. The thing is with Hulkenberg, I mean, he's clearly putting Magnussen to shame. And I think Hulkenberg's performances are definitely showing that with the right drivers, that Haas can actually do it okay. I was very much predicting that Haas would be struggling this year, but they've, especially in Hulkenberg's hands, he's definitely shown otherwise. So, yeah, it's a great signing for Audi with Hulkenberg going over there. But this is the first time, believe it or not, Hulkenberg has ever raced at Imola in all of his time. So, right, so George Russell is the first man out there to set a lap. He's set a 24.0 in the first sector. That's still 3 tenths off of the fastest of Max Verstappen and 3 tenths slower than Yuki Tsunoda. They are on used tyres though, so that may come into effect as well. So don't expect them to be as quick as they are on their first run. Same as Albon, only Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Perez are on new tyres at the moment. But we can see here with George Russell, Hamilton, that's much better from Hamilton in the middle sector there. That's almost half a second quicker through that middle sector there than he was in Q1. So much better from Lewis. As George sets a 16.2, so slower than his lap last time around, which was a 16.1, but it's on used. Let's see how Hamilton gets on here. Seems to be too bad. 24.1 and 26.3. As he goes fastest by 0.003 of a second over his teammate. So much better for Lewis there on a set of used tyres. That should give him a bit of confidence as Albon goes, has a very slow last sector once again and goes in there with a 16.9. But Max flying again, a 23.7. Still not quite the fastest first sector we've seen. But let's keep an eye on Max in his middle sector. Does it go purple again? It does, a 26.0. Oof, 6 tenths faster than Alex Albon through that middle sector. So, yeah, the Red Bull doesn't look too shabby, I think, at the moment. There's something they've changed to it, maybe. Let's see how he gets on through turn 17 and 18. The two Ravazzas have to be careful here on the exit of turn 18. We've seen people dipping their wheel in the gravel. He seems to have got through it quite comfortably. This will be the fastest lap, and it's a 15.3 on a brand new set of tyres for Max Verstappen. A very, very quick time from him. Solid. But Charles Leclerc, now it's the man we need to see. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri and Norris are all on a brand new set of softs. So this is truly where we're first going to see whether these cars have improved and caught up with the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. So we can see there Perez half a second off of his teammates. Maybe driving a little bit within himself, Perez, also because he's had that crash earlier on this morning in FP3. We don't know how that's affecting his confidence. Who else is out there at the moment? So Gasly is on a lap. He's starting his lap. Anyone else? No. So Gasly's the only one out there. Lance Stroll. Is he setting a lap now? I think Lance Stroll is. Yeah, Lance Stroll is out there setting a lap now. So he's on 24.1. So we'll keep an eye out on him. Most people out there on their out laps at the moment or coming into the pit lane. Been the first, that's what matter here. Thinking red flag this session with the wind. Definitely, Warren. Yeah, you have to get out there early and get a banker lap in because it could potentially, there could be a red flag, there could be yellows. It could really throw you off. Yeah, definitely. Especially with these guys pushing. It's important to be out there, be one of the first cars out there. I agree. Guys, please keep hitting the subscribe button if you can. We're 80 away from getting up to... We're 80 away from getting up to 22,000 subs. Let's see if we can achieve that today in this stream. That'd be great. As Lance Stroll coming around the last corner, where is he going to filter into? It's a very slow middle sector. And he goes 6th. Only a little bit ahead of Alex Albon. So not a great 7/10 of a second slower than George Russell. That is how slow that lap time was there from Lance Stroll. As Gasly goes P6, he's not doing too bad. The Alpines, for the second week in a row, or second race in a row, have gone, made their way into Q2. So they're moving in the right direction, but still not where they want to be. But you can see there, Yuki Tsunoda is flying through this first sector. Yuki Tsunoda is on it. Carlos Sainz, let's see what Carlos Sainz sets. And Carlos goes P2, 3/10 behind Verstappen. Was a bit slow in the middle sector. So let's see Charles though. Charles has set purple in the second. He's very quick in the first as well as Oscar goes second. Here goes Charles Leclerc. And he goes fastest by 0.05 of a second over Max Verstappen. And look how tight that is between the top three. Less than a tenth separating them. How does Lando Norris do? He's going well. There's no purple sectors there, but I do expect him to head towards the top of the timing sheets. And he goes 4th with a purple last sector. 1.5 tenths between Lando Norris to Charles Leclerc. But how about Yuki? Yuki's flying. Yuki could really throw a spanner in the works here. I know it's only Q2. As he goes... What? I'm sorry. Yuki, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That's not allowed. You're ahead of Max Verstappen. You're ahead of Max Verstappen. Stop that. Oh my God. Stop the count. Stop the count. Can this be Q3? Can this be Q3 now? Please. Genuinely. That's genuine pace. Like, genuinely, that's... Wow. Not often I'm speechless. Hang on a sec, I need to move the cat. That's crazy. Ooh. Wow, that is some performance. I mean, not to take anything away from Daniel Ricciardo either. Like, I mean, he's in P8 at the moment. The two Mercedes were driving on used tyres. Everyone below Ricciardo was on used tyres, so not great. But Yuki there, Max was on fresh tyres. Leclerc, fresh tyres. Piastri, Norris, Sainz, they're all on fresh tyres. So it's not like you're going, oh, he's on new tyres and everyone else is on fresh. Sorry, I was on used tyres. That's genuine pace from Yuki. Oh my God. Wow. I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. So, I mean, I've been a big critic for Yuki as well. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a hypocrite or anything, but like, I've been a big critic of Yuki. I think he's been very fortunate over the last couple of years to retain his seat. But he's now showing what everyone has always said about him. So, yeah, it's about time. But fair play to the lad. Fair play to the lad. And under pressure as well when he knows his seat, he might not have a seat next year. But yeah, wow. We'll see, but yes, so I think it's pretty much a given that I think the top 7 will get through. It is still close though. I mean, Perez needs to pull his finger out, doesn't he? As Daniel Ricciardo is quite close behind. We know the Mercedes are still going to improve. We see Hulkenberg stick it P2 with a sub 15, 16 second one before. So yeah, this track it's intriguing. There's a fine balance between obviously pushing too hard and with the gravel, these drivers know that they have to stay within the physical limits of the track, and there's very little room for error. So yeah, right, let's see what Albon can do now on a fresh set of tyres. Can he drag himself into Q3? I don't think he can. Don't think that Williams has got it, but once again, Albon is just getting the best that he can out of that Williams car. If he can try and start himself 13th, 13th or 12th, that'd be great performance for the Williams. As his teammate, once again, is down in 20th place. I'm sorry, Logie fans. I'm sorry, Logie Bear fans, but yeah. I mean, would Kimi Antonelli really do a worse of a job than what Logan Sargent's currently doing at the moment? I don't think so. Maybe Lando can win, like again. Yeah, potentially. Yeah. So Albon can take down Hamilton. Well, they're still going to improve the Mercedes because they've been on. They were on used tyres as well. So let's see, Albon P12. Don't really see. 16.2. That is the Williams' fastest time that Albon or Williams has set this weekend at the moment. So don't think that's going to be enough for him to stay where he is. I expect the Alpines to improve. Maybe Lance Stroll won't improve. Aston Martin doesn't look overly great. And we know it never looks overly great in Lance Stroll's hands anyway, do we? So Hulkenberg doing another lap. Yes. Yeah, Hulkenberg definitely needs to do another lap. So we've got 3 minutes remaining. And everyone is coming out. So no one feels safe. No one feels safe. The track is still ramping up. So they're getting out there to set a lap. So here we go. Esteban Ocon is about to come around to start his last lap here. Norris and Leclerc, Verstappen and Perez are indeed trudging their way down the pit lane as well. It is a long pit lane here at Imola. So here we go. Esteban Ocon down into the first corner. Very quick left and right. Have to be careful of the curbs. We saw Magnussen have a big wobble there with Oscar Piastri on his inside where he may get a potential penalty. Then through turns 5 and 6, we've already seen Logan Sargent run very wide here through the gravel as he sets a 24-0 in the first sector. Esteban Ocon, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, but not as fast as Yuki and Max and George Russell, who are sub 24 seconds there. But is he going to get caught up in a bit of traffic? I think he should be okay, which won't affect his lap time. As Gasly goes slightly quicker than his teammate, and George Russell goes even quicker than them with a 23.9. So, of course, the Mercedes are in danger zone at the moment. Lewis Hamilton goes quicker than George Russell, a 23.8 from Lewis Hamilton. So that is a great first sector from him, the fastest that he's set thus far this weekend. So George Russell through Aqua Minerale. Hamilton shouldn't get affected by Charles Leclerc as he heads down there. Of course, he's had a bit of trouble through this second sector this week. Lewis already spun through that exact corner, and a 26.1 is okay, but not great for Lewis. As Esteban Ocon drags himself up to P8 with a sub 116. How about his teammate Gasly? And Gasly, no, a 116.2. So Gasly is out with a very slow last sector. A mistake there for him means Gasly is out of Q2. Russell up into P6. How about Lewis Hamilton? Of course, only just made it through Q1. And Lewis goes up just behind his teammate there into P7. But he will, I imagine, move down a bit. So who can push him down? Hulkenberg? He can indeed. Hulkenberg is quicker than both of the Mercedes in both qualifying sessions at the moment. And now it's Perez who is at risk with Danny Ricciardo, the only man out there who can push these drivers down into that drop zone. So Danny Ricciardo, how is he going? Seems to be, it was a good first sector, not a great second sector though. So it's all about these last couple of corners. As we said, we've seen Alonso lose it through turn 18 already. Albon has had his troubles through here. So Danny Ricciardo, can he get himself into Q3? He needs to make up a couple of positions at least, and he pushes Sainz and Perez down, and that's a good lap time from Ricciardo, but you do expect Sainz and Perez to improve here. So Pressure is on both of those drivers, particularly Perez. Perez cannot afford a mistake because otherwise he will be out of this Q2 session. Checkered flag has gone. So the likes of Leclerc, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Piastri, Norris are all safe. And Sainz does indeed push Daniel Ricciardo down. So it's all about Sergio Perez. If Perez has any mistake, he will be out of Q2 as Norris goes up ahead of Verstappen and his teammate Piastri. So Perez, how is he getting on? Perez has done a 23.9 in the first sector. That was on par with Daniel Ricciardo. So how about sector 2? How has he got on here? A 26.2. That's slower than Danny Ricciardo, from what I remember. That's not a good first middle sector. Perez is in danger here. He really needs to hook up this last couple of corners because otherwise Perez could be a scalp as Verstappen sets a great lap time of a 15.1, the fastest we've seen. But how about Perez? He's coming across the finish line. Is he going to improve? It's all about... He doesn't improve. Danny Ricciardo is through. Both AlphaTauris, the VCARB cars are through to Q3. And the Red Bull of Sergio Perez is out-qualified by Danny Ricciardo and he's out. He's out of Q2. Go on, Danny Rick. Go on, Danny Rick. Pressure was on this circuit. If you can't push... Oh, my God. What a qualifying session this is. What a qualifying session. Both the RB cars, Tsunoda and Ricciardo, have out-qualified Perez. On pace. On pace. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. What a performance from Danny Ricciardo, getting it through to Q3, where all of, rightfully so, the plaudits have been going to Yuki Tsunoda this weekend thus far. But that is a great qualifying performance from Danny Ricciardo in Q3, making it into Q3. And wow, we have lost Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Alex Albon, and Pierre Gasly in Q2. I did not see Sergio Perez. I mean... This is the thing. I mean, he lost it, didn't he? Through the chicane, Variante Alta, 14 and 15 in the end of FP3. And has that affected his confidence? So I'm just looking at the replay now as he heads through that exact corner. And he kind of did the thing similarly. I mean, he went over the curb, which he lost control over. Oh my God, he got proper airtime over the curb. He's getting too aggressive over the entry of turn 14 and he's just losing time because he has to wait for the car to settle before he can get back on throttle. So yeah, Sergio Perez out. So at the end there, we saw some new laps get thrown in with Verstappen setting a fastest lap, which was a 1:15.1, 1.5 tenths quicker than Leclerc. Yuki obviously didn't set another lap in P3. Norris did improve. We do have Piastri in P5, Sainz 6, Hülkenberg quicker than both Mercedes drivers there in P8 and P9, and then Danny Ricciardo, a great performance from him. He won't care really where he finishes in this Q3 session, just making it through it into Q3 is a massive achievement in itself. But wow, quite evidently, Max is still he's still there. They've figured something out with the car. It might have been between FP3 and this qualifying session, but he's actually discovered something, or they've changed something in the car that has made him find a bit of confidence, because he definitely didn't still look comfortable in FP3. But yeah, wow, we are in for a stonker of a Q3, guys. Whew. If you can hit the like button, I tell you what, hit that subscribe button. 70 more of you. We've got 1,700 people in the stream right now. Hit the subscribe button and get that number to 22,000. Where is it? It's like that way? There we go. That way. In the middle of your screen. Let's get that to 22,000. Midfielder quite busy today. By the way, did Magnussen get a penalty at this race? No. If he gets more penalty points for another incident, he will get a race ban. Yeah. How is Tsunoda? Because he's driving brilliantly. Oh, 2 sets, guys. Yeah. Clear my nose. That's better. Whew. Mercedes, yeah, it's a positive for Mercedes to at least make it through to Q3. Considering Lewis was like 0.02 of a second of going out from Q1. But this is the sector times at the moment, guys. This is how tight it is and how different it is in pace. So these are your sector times, and you can see here that there are 3 different cars, 3 different drivers with the fastest first, second and third sector. You can see there Norris, while he's obviously in the top 2 for the second and third sector, he's P6 for the first sector where he's losing time at the moment. Max is quickest by far. Then Norris, that's where he's losing the time. And then Max there, look, down in P5. It's a lot tighter between the top 6 here, top 10 when it looks at the second sector. Only like a tenth between, or not even a tenth between P1 and P9 pretty much, or P8, and then the same kind of with the last sector as well. So Max is making up all the time through the first sector at the moment over those other drivers. But Yuki, look at that, P2 with the in the first sector, and then look, fourth, and then the last sector is where he's losing a bit more time than the others. But wow, in for a stonker, in for a cracking last qualifying session here, guys. What if Yuki takes pole? He won't get pole. No. Look, I still think Ferrari are going to pull something out the bag here, or they've still got pace in hand. We've still got Norris and Piastri. Like, they're still driving a little bit within themselves, I think, because of the nature of this circuit. So yeah, I still think Leclerc's got a lot to give, as well as Norris and Piastri, as well as Sainz. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I still think we're going to see one of those in the wall. I just do when they're pushing. When they're going to push now, I still think someone might potentially lose it in the wall. So, Pikachu. Thank you, Johannes. Yes, and thank you for everyone who has subbed. I know I keep asking, but if you don't ask, you don't get at the end of the day. And yeah, this channel is continuing to grow. I need 40 more of you to hit the subscribe button to get to 22,000. Come on, you can do it. Another milestone achieved. And yeah, hit the like button as well. It does help to continue to grow this great community that we have. So, but yeah, who's gonna? You tell me now, guys. You've already told me who's going to be on pole position. You thought Charles Leclerc. Is that still the case? Who's going to be your top 3? Tell me now, after what you've just seen in the first 2 qualifying sessions, as we're now starting Q3 with Hulkenberg getting out there first, who do you think is going to be on pole position and be the top 3? Let me know. I'm still sticking to my guns, and I still think Leclerc. I still don't think Max Verstappen, and I know you're going to go, oh my God. I still don't think Max Verstappen will be in the top 3. I still think there's pace in hand from the McLarens and the Ferraris. Thanks, Lemon. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Verstappen, Piastri, Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris, Tsunoda, Leclerc. Do you know what? Just from you guys saying that, just sit back for a sec. How good is it? How good is it that we've got these predictions? How good is it that we're sitting here and we're going, we generally don't know who's going to be on pole position. We're genuinely like, it could be any order. We're not just going Verstappen, Perez, P1, P2. Like, we're genuinely not sure who's going to be on pole position. This is great. This is what we've been so starved of in F1. Come on. Max again. You still think Max is going to maintain his 100% record? Let's see, let's see. Right, Nico Hulkenberg is the first man out on track to set a lap time. So let's keep an eye on him. He's going to hit a bit of traffic, but the drivers should play ball and get out of his way. So, Sector 1, we know anything below Max did a 23.5 last time around. Anything kind of sub 23.8 is really, really good, and he's up there. So let's see as he heads down into Turn 7. And he's done a 24.2, so that's not good. That's slow. That's genuinely very slow from Hulkenberg there. He's made a mistake somewhere where he hasn't been able to optimize an exit or something. He's slow. 24.2 is actually on par with the slowest we've seen out there at the moment. So this isn't a good lap from Nico Hulkenberg. As on the contrary, Max Verstappen has gone a 23.4 for the first sector. So very, very quick first sector from Max Verstappen as Lando goes through there with a 23.68. So Lando not quite able to match Max through that first sector. So Max definitely has found something, as we predicted through between FP3 and this qualifying session. Trying to prove everyone wrong, as Tsunoda does a 23.7 as well, a 26.0 for Max in the middle sector, a purple from him as Hulkenberg goes in with a 16.3. That'll be comfortably the slowest time for him. He was quickest in the last sector, but that's only because he was the first man out there. But Norris goes fastest in the middle sector, but it's still not enough to kind of close the gap on Verstappen, who is flying at the moment as he comes across the finish line. Is he going to do a sub 15 for the first time? He is a 14.869 for him there as Leclerc does a 23.7 through. No one can match Max's time through the first sector. What has that Red Bull of Max unlocked through the first sector? He's unlocked something through the first sector that no one else can match at the moment, and that's where he's making up the time. As Norris, look, only 0.07 of a second behind Max, but all of that time was pretty much gained in the first sector by Max Verstappen. He wasn't quite as tuned up in the last sector where Norris was able to scramble it back as Piastri goes in there into P3. But how's Carlos Sainz getting on? No purples for Carlos Sainz. Bit of a slow middle sector. So I expect this to be over 1:15 seconds. How about Charles Leclerc? Also no purples for Charles Leclerc as he's in P. Carlos Sainz moves up to P4. Tsunoda does a P5. And Leclerc only goes P3. Oh my god, I need to sneeze, sorry. Oh. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Wow, what's happened? So Max Verstappen, a 14.8 from him at the moment. Oh, bless me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Danny Ricciardo probably only has one set of soft tyres available to him. But Max Verstappen at the moment. Oh, why? Why do this in Q3? Thank you, Christian. So Verstappen, P1 at the moment. Provisional P1, Norris P2, Leclerc P3, Piastri P4, Sainz P5. So at the moment, it seems to be that Verstappen just is blitzing it through the first sector. That's where all the time is being made up. So maybe Max has turned it up. Whoever doubted him, I guess. Me. But yeah, Max there I just made up a lot of time. 23.4 in the first sector there. So let's just leave these sector times on here for you guys while I just go and unfortunately clear my airwaves once again for this last Q3 run, where still tight. Someone's gonna push. Oh, back. Right. So, yes, as you can see, Max there, quicker, 2 tenths quicker through the first sector than that of Piastri and Norris. And then we also have in the second, it's all very tight in the middle sector, not really anything splitting the guys there. But in sector 3, Max is about 1.5 tenths slower, you can see, than Norris, Leclerc and Piastri. But that first sector is the difference at the moment. If they want any chance of pole position, it seems that Piastri, Norris, Leclerc need to improve the first sector. Why is Danny still in the pits? Because he probably only has one set of soft tyres available to use. There was no point in him going out there and just running another lap on a set of used tyres. So, but yeah, guys. So we are only minutes away, 4.5 minutes away from finding out who is going to be on pole position for the EMILIA-ROMAGNA GP tomorrow. Well, we will be streaming this once again for this watch along. So over 2,000 of you in here, thank you. Hit the like button. How are we only at 255 likes? And there's 2,000 of you in this stream. Please, if you can get that to 1,000 likes, that'd be much appreciated. I know it's a lot of likes and a lot to ask for, but it's just a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I need 21 subscribers to hit 22,000. Go on, there's got to be 22 of you in here who have not hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button and keep growing this channel in the right direction. Statistically speaking, there's 90% of you in here who haven't hit the subscribe button. And yeah, believe it or not, YouTube do help push this channel forward and bring this closer to being brings it closer to me making this a full-time job. So if you hit that subscribe button. Alonso went wide at Tamburelli, yeah. What is the reason that Stroll was outperformed Alonso? Yeah, because Alonso couldn't really set a good lap. Hey, 22,000. See, if anyone ever says don't worry asking, you don't ask, you don't get. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Over 22,000. Hey. Try to say the full name of the GP. Oh, isn't it? Is it Emilia-Romagna? Or is it more than that? Is it more than that? But thank you, guys. So here we are. We are heading into Q3. The last run at the moment. It is Max Verstappen in provisional pole. I'll admit, I didn't expect to see Max in provisional pole at the moment and have the pace that he has, but Norris is pushing him close with only 0.07 of a second behind him in that last run around in P2. Leclerc P3, Piastri 4th, Sainz 5th, Russell 6th, Tsunoda 7th, Hamilton 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, and Ricciardo 10th. But who is going to be on pole position? Here we go. One more run, guys, in what has been probably the most interesting and entertaining qualifying we have had in, well, a very long time. So, right, Hulkenberg is going to be the first man to come around. Everyone is on a brand new set of new tyres, as the McLarens are going to be the last ones to come out. They're risking it, because if someone bins it, they're not going to have enough time to set a lap, because the yellow flags will come out. Maybe Max will strategically lose it in the gravel. Pardon me. So, here we go. So, Nico Hulkenberg is the first man. I'll attempt the full name of the Grand Prix afterwards. But here we go. So, Nico Hulkenberg through the first sector. A 24.0. Much better from him. But when you consider comparing it to Max Verstappen, that is 0.6 slower, or half a second slower through that first sector. But it is much better last time around. So here we go through turn 9. A quick flick through the left, cut down a couple of gears as you then head downhill to the fast right-hander into a braking zone of the Acqua Minerale section. Then up to Variante Alta, the chicane, where Sergio Perez lost it earlier on in FP3. Have to be careful not to take too much curb as you head into the turn 14. Have to wait for the car to settle, then back on power. 26.3 for him. So once again, a bit slow through that middle sector. Hulkenberg and Max Verstappen, did he really play ball there as they went down into turn 7? But this is not going to be ideal. This is going to benefit Max beautifully here, as he's going to get a nice little toe from Nico Hulkenberg as he heads down into turn 2. So this is not great for us who want someone other than Max Verstappen on pole position, as Nico Hulkenberg is just sucking Verstappen down that main straight, and he's probably going to improve on what has already been a great first lap for him, first sector for him. But Leclerc is slower in the first sector, but is quicker in the second, as Max does improve in the first sector, and it's not looking good for those behind him as Leclerc is coming across the finish line now. Is he able to improve? And he only does a 1:14.9, so Leclerc's not even going to be on the front row of the grid tomorrow that currently sits with Verstappen and Lando Norris. Lando does improve, but once again is 2 tenths slower than Max Verstappen through the first sector. So it's all about the rest of this track for Lando Norris, who is right behind Max Verstappen as Max is going faster. He's done a sub 26 second through the middle sector. Lando's gone slightly slower. He's slower overall, and he's not going to improve on this lap. But how about Oscar Piastri? Oscar Piastri is quicker than Lando at the moment through the first sector. How about the second? Carlos Sainz did not improve too much. He's in P5, so Oscar goes fastest in the middle sector. So Oscar's the only man who can thwart Verstappen at the moment and could usurp his teammate on the front row of the grid, as Norris does get the fastest last sector of 14.8. That is where all the time is made up by the McLaren compared to the Red Bull, but Oscar does seem to be flying at the moment. Can Oscar do it? Can he do it? Here we go, across the line. Oscar Piastri. Oh, P2! 0.07 of a second to Max Verstappen. The two McLarens, Piastri and Norris, are only less than 1/10 of a second behind Max Verstappen. And once again, Max, out of nowhere, after struggling through all the practice sessions, finds something from somewhere. He digs deep and he gets P1 once again. Damn him. Why are you so good? Why are you so good, man? He's dug deep. He's found something. But Piastri and Norris, the first sector was where the difference was. They just couldn't beat. They just couldn't close the gap through the first sector of Max Verstappen, and that's where the difference was made. However, do not fear, guys. If you're worrying it will be a boring race tomorrow, do not fear. The difference is that through that first sector, down into turn 1, if Max Verstappen is struggling through the last sector, that's where it's all important for those McLarens to be up close, where they are the quickest. Because if you're close and can close the gap out into the last sector, onto the start main straight, where DRS is, realistically the only overtaking opportunity at Imola is down into turn 2, and that will leave the Red Bull of Max Verstappen vulnerable with those McLarens in DRS. And yeah, that will make things interesting tomorrow in the race. But wow, how Max, they've found something. They found something. I'll be interested to find and listen to the interviews afterwards. But they definitely found something in performance, in setup after the after FP3, because he still didn't look comfortable in FP3. But wow, 0.07 of a second of Oscar Piastri to Max Verstappen, 0.09 of a second of Lando Norris to Verstappen, and the Ferraris will be very disappointed, especially Charles Leclerc. 2 tenths off of Max Verstappen there, and 1 tenth fully off of Lando Norris. So the Ferraris, not great for them, considering. But yeah, Max Verstappen, once again, digging deep, guys, digging deep. Red Bull sorted it in then. It seems it, Connor, doesn't it? Yeah, it seems it. They've definitely sorted it between FP3 and quali. Got to have done. Got to have done. Thanks, Anthony. Much appreciated, mate. I do try. I do try. Max Verstappen is winning. I don't think he will win tomorrow. I still don't think he'll win. I don't know. I still think it's going to be a very entertaining and close race tomorrow. If we look at the sector time, so this has been very important, guys. Let's look at the sector times. You can see here, Max, absolutely dominant for the first sector. 2 tenths faster than Piastri and Russell and Norris. The middle sector, not a lot to separate them. All very close there. Like, you're talking hundredths of a second. And then sector 3, look at that. Norris and Piastri, quite clearly the fastest drivers in the last sector. 2 tenths faster than Verstappen. So Max makes it up in the first sector, and then they gain it all again in the last sector. And this is why I'm saying tomorrow the race is going to be interesting, because, I mean, it could be just top speed and the lack of, like, it could just be top speed that Max is where Max is making like the difference in that first sector. But if you're close out of the last sector and you've got DRS down into turn 2, then like I'd much prefer to be in the McLarens than Max. So that's my opinion, and that's just like from racing here in sim. I know it's very different, of course, in real life, but we'll see. Yeah, he's obviously very quick in the first sector compared to those in the last sector. We'll see how it works. But with the assistance of DRS, I think they'll at least be able to get side by side of him and make some moves. But the thing is now, and this is what the teams wanted to do, right? The teams wanted to put pressure on the Red Bulls. They wanted to put pressure on them. They wanted to make sure that they weren't comfortable anymore, and that's definitely not comfortable. We saw Max rattled this weekend in the practice sessions. They've obviously found something in FP after FP3, and you can hear how like yes he is afterwards. It's the most animated he's been since he's qualified on pole, because he knows how close it was and how much they've struggled. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe it is literally a case of they might have only found something for qualifying, and they might suffer for it in the race. You don't know. So, going to be some serious pressure with Perez. Exactly. And the thing is, the McLarens, because they're that close, the Ferraris aren't any slouches either on race pace. It's going to be an interesting race tomorrow. And you think it's not just Max against the two McLarens behind. It's Max against the two Ferraris as well. And Perez is down in 11th. So, but let's have a run through this grid, guys, as we still have 1,000 of you in here. Now, there is potential, unfortunately, there is going to be investigated after this session. Piastri potentially impeding Kevin Magnussen, so he might get a grid place penalty, which will promote Leclerc and probably Sainz up. I really hope not, but it is, at the moment, as it stands, Verstappen is on pole position by 0.07 of a second from Oscar Piastri and 0.09 of a second to Lando Norris. Less than a tenth separating Piastri and Norris, the two McLarens. A poor performance, really, in qualifying from both the Ferraris, who did look very good in the practice sessions. Leclerc in P4 and Sainz in P5. Russell in P6, with Tsunoda separating those two in P7. Not quite sure what happened with Tsunoda. He did seem to be quick through the first sectors. It looked like that he wasn't really able to improve in that last sector in Q3. So that's really where he has not been able to get ahead of those Mercedes. And that is where the difference is. But still, a great performance from him nonetheless. Hamilton in P8, who has just not looked at the races here again this weekend. The Mercedes isn't really doing well here. But Lewis, I think, has checked out of this year, let's be honest with you. Ricciardo, great performance from him, getting into Q3 and sneaking an extra position from Nico Hülkenberg, who did look good throughout quali, but then when push comes to shove, just wasn't able to put a lap together in Q3. Perez, the big shocker today, not making it out of Q2 on pace alone, and Danny Ricciardo got ahead of him and snuck into Q3. Esteban Ocon P12, Lance Stroll 13th, Albon 14th, Gasly 15th, Bottas 16th, Zhou 17th, Magnussen 18th, who could have maybe got out of Q1, but of course Piastri, that incident is being investigated. It does look like he impeded him. I don't know. I really hope it's kind of like, well, Piastri did move out of the way. I don't know. And then Alonso 19th. I don't know if there was an issue there with him. Of course, he binned it in FP3. And then Sargent had every lap deleted for track limits. So sorry, guys. Sorry, Logie Bear fans, but maybe they should have replaced him with Antonelli this weekend. So has to be penalised, absolutely, Romag. Yeah, I hope not, though. More of hope than anything, but I do think he's going to be probably penalised for it. Yuki was a bit sweary about it. What happened with Yuki? If Max hadn't got that massive toe from Hulk, it would have been very close. Maybe. I need to see if he did actually get the toe. I do need to see. But yes, I did think at the time, obviously looking at the dots, he probably got a benefit of a toe. So we'll see. He definitely went faster in the first sector, so you would probably say, I might have got a bit more top speed from that toe from Hülkenberg. So yeah, we'll see. I need to see his on board though first before we make that assumption. Red Bull being poor in the final sector and slow on straights without DRS could make tomorrow difficult for them. That's what I'm thinking, Connor. I'm thinking... So my logic is that the McLarens, they're only 2 tenths slower than the Red Bull. Now, is it top speed, or is it just because they're able to flick the car into turns 2 and 3 better, and 5 and 6 better than the McLarens? But the McLarens are definitely going to close up that gap on the Red Bull into the last sector, where they'll have DRS. And to be honest, even if there is a little bit of a difference in like top speed, as they said, the Red Bull was slightly faster in top speed, I still think the DRS of having a DRS in the McLaren, they'd be able to get alongside Max and definitely make something happen down into turn 2. So, and when it comes to strategy as well, they're going to be in the ascendancy knowing that they've got an extra car to battle and use against Max. And I don't think the Ferraris are going to be far off the McLarens either. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the top 5 very close together tomorrow. And we see them racing very close. Red Bulls race all in 1-2 in the first sector, but McLaren faster in straights. Are they actually? Let me check. Let me check then. I can see the speed traps actually. Hang on. The great beauty thing of this app. Speed trap leaderboard. Here we go. Oh, there you are right. You are right. Only by a mile an hour, but... Oh, there's nothing in it at all, though, is there? There's nothing in it at all. So... Yeah. I mean, Piastri's at the top of Sector 1 and Sector 2. Verstappen here is... I mean, you're talking like 1 mile an hour difference. 1 mile an hour. But with DRS, that's such a big difference. Yeah, I mean... You can't even say that the McLarens are slower in a straight line, can you? Looking at that, definitely. But you're talking 1 mile an hour difference or the same. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be very interesting. Tomorrow's going to be so interesting. Without DRS, it's a big difference to Red Bull, yeah. This is multi-viewer. What I know is Max will either get away from the first lap or struggle throughout the entire race. No, I don't think he's got that pace advantage. Don't think he's got that pace advantage here this week. That's for sure. New parts of Red Bull are draggy. I don't think so much it's drag. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily draggy. I think it's just that other teams close. I don't think Red Bull necessarily lost performance. It's just the fact that the other teams are caught up. We're now into the 3rd year of a new regulation, of this regulation set. Red Bull did very well, but it was dramatized of how dominant they were because of how wrong the other teams got it. And now the other teams are getting it right, and they've caught up to Red Bull. It's not so much Red Bull still continue to progress, but their progression is a lot slower than it is of Ferrari and McLaren, who they had bigger gains to make. So this was inevitable at some point. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it being this soon, if I'm being honest with you. I thought it would happen maybe towards the end of this year, the second half of the season, and then we'd be more looking forward to 2025. Even then, I wasn't really too positive. But wow, I mean, look, it is... Who knows? Maybe Red Bull will find something again, but it bodes well. Bodes well for sure. Yeah, Perez deserves a new contract. Why did Ferrari go out so early? Feel like they could have made a difference, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't really heard. I need to listen to their interviews to see exactly what went wrong with them. Their sector times, they were similar. So Ferrari were. Let me have a look at sectors leaderboard again. So here we go. Hang on, I'm just watching the onboard. Oh, Max got a mega toe from Nico Hülkenberg. Oh, we got an unbelievable toe from Hülkenberg. I tell you what, if Hulk didn't give him that toe, we could be having a different discussion here right now with Max in P3 and the 2 McLarens ahead of him. I'm telling you now, I'd love to see how much of a difference that actually made. But he got a substantial toe from Hülkenberg from out of the last corner down to around here, really, around to this kink, which is where Hülkenberg kind of moved out of the way. I'm just watching the lap from Max. So it all looks pretty good. How aggressive is he over... He's not as aggressive over turn 14 Variante Alta as his teammate Perez. That's where Perez is really letting himself down at the moment. It's why he lost control of the car in FP3. And then... Yeah, he's very on the edge for the last Ravazzas, isn't he? I tell you what, if he did not get that toe from Nico Hulkenberg, when you see it, it was a substantial toe. It was a substantial toe. And I reckon he wouldn't be on pole position right now with how close it is if he didn't get that toe. Because he also went faster in the first sector, didn't he? Because of that. If we're looking here, so sector times... Yeah, Leclerc, the Ferrari's struggling a bit in the first sector. 6th and 7th, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz were. And then Leclerc's third fastest in the 2nd and 3rd sector. So that sector's letting them down. But if but maybe, exactly, Kush. Exactly. If but maybes. All we can do now is look forward to the race tomorrow, which will be happening at 2 PM UK time. I'll be live half an hour before the race, maybe even a touch earlier. See how I feel. Because I think it's going to be a real interesting one tomorrow. While overtaking here is a little bit limited. It's panning out. It's really good that Perez isn't there because it makes things more interesting. Max is up there alone. And I do think those McLarens have the pace on Max, and it'd be interesting to see how that pans out tomorrow. And of course, the Ferraris had good race pace as well in practice. Bit of a poor qualifying performance from them, but of course, the race is where it matters. So. And I'm actually hoping we don't have any rain tomorrow. Don't have any rain. We want a dry race. For once, we don't want you out there doing your rain dances. We want you to just pray that it doesn't. Thanks, Warren. Yeah, no, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure. And thank you to everyone who subbed. Over 22,000 subs. Thank you very much. And if you could, the last of you, if you could hit the like button as well. Come on, let's get this to 500 likes. Let's get this to 500 likes. Alberto is still what? Who's Alberto? What, Alonso? Is there a possibility for Sainz replacing Perez next year? There is. Yes. Yes. Supposedly he has been in talks with Red Bull, and he's also been in talks with Mercedes. I think he's weighing up his options, Sainz. I don't think he's going to go to Audi, but I think so. Basically, I think this is it. Mercedes is the short-term option, only a year contract, maybe a one year with an option of an extra year, but really, I think realistically, he knows he'd only been here a year. And then Red Bull is probably the longer term option. However, they're not making a decision on. They probably haven't offered him a contract yet, and it's more so we need to see how Perez does. I think it's more so that. So. If it rains, Max wins by 15 seconds. Maybe, maybe not. It's not so much about that. It's the fact of if it rains, this track, it doesn't really bode well for wet weather racing because of how tight it is. And especially if it stops raining and a dry line forms, then there's nowhere for them to overtake. So it just becomes a procession. And that's what we don't want. It just becomes very boring. So the best thing for us tomorrow, while it is a track that's difficult to overtake at, the best thing for us as fans tomorrow is for it to be dry. Completely dry. I don't want any rain at all. Because the cars are closer on pace, and that's what we want to see. We want to see good racing tomorrow, and I think we're going to see it. What did Marco say? Sainz is with Sauber next year, they said. Marco said that he's got an offer. He's got a very large offer from Audi, which they can't match. But then again, him going to Audi is him going down to a team that's currently 16th and 17th on the grid. There's nothing to say that Audi are going to automatically jump up into the top 10. They're most definitely not going to be fighting for podiums, are they? So there's a step back for Carlos Sainz in my view, and I think he'd feel the same as well in the matter and the money. He's not a poor man. He's on what, 25 million a year or something anyway? He's on a substantial amount of money anyway. So, yeah. Just listening to Sergio Perez now. What does he have to say? Obviously doesn't look very happy. Oh, can't even hear him. Single line only, raining shit here. Exactly, Connor. Exactly. It won't rain. No, weather says it's going to be sunny. Yes, Nightcore. You've just made my day. It's made my day. Hamilton Mercedes truck not doing well. Yeah, he doesn't like the car. I think he's just probably tampered around with the setup again. Try and unlock something. They were trying something different in FP3, it seems. Yeah, I mean, look, even George Russell, who's supposedly on the balanced setup, safe setup, is only P6. So that Mercedes is nowhere near. It's half a second off of P1. That's now half a second off of the McLarens, who you supply engines to. Your customer is faster than you. How must you feel as the Mercedes? Like, Jesus. Good to see you again, Roo. I think Yuki is into the conversation for that second Red Bull seat now, particularly given how happy VCarb are with Danny's contribution to development. Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think Yuki is definitely doing what he needs to do to put himself into the conversation. I don't see now Danny Ricciardo moving up to that Red Bull seat. I don't see it happening. I think Danny Rick will probably just stay at AlphaTauri. They might let him go at the end of the year or something. I don't know. Don't know what will happen. I mean, the driver market is kind of as in flux as it's ever been, considering we had the first time ever that the driver lineup didn't change in F1 from season to season. So Dawson should be on the grid next year. If they go back on their word and he isn't in that V-carb next year, what are you doing? There's everything wrong about F1 if he's not on there. So first time stream viewer. Oh, welcome, Young. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Love from Australia. God, it's got to be a bit. What time is it for you guys there now? Are you like 10 hours behind? Is it midnight there for you, or like 2 a.m? It's got to be quite early for you, isn't it? Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. But yeah, that was a very, very interesting qualifying session, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, tuning in with me. 416 likes, over 22,000 subs. These streams just get that's over 2,000 viewers for a qualifying stream. So yeah, these I would have absolutely ripped your hand off for if you told me I'd get 2,000 viewers for a race stream at the start of the season, let alone for qualifying. So yeah, big thank you. It just shows how much this community and this channel is growing, and it's all thanks to you guys. So yeah, big thank you. Trying to do some F1 content as well, like opinionated content as well, throughout the weeks now, as well as these watch-alongs, so that we can all get engaged, like my race reviews and stuff. So yeah, hope you've been enjoying it. You could got some parts from Max. Can I explain the reason behind the full team names, like McLaren, Mercedes? Is it because they use parts engine? Exactly that, Tall. Yes. So because they're called McLaren Mercedes, it's because they use their engine. So it's the same with Red Bull. Even though they're still using Red Bull Honda engines, it was Red Bull Honda. It's like Aston Martin. I don't know if Aston Martin's name is Aston Martin. Is Aston Martin known as Aston Martin Mercedes? I don't think it is. But yeah, they kind of agree naming rights to include them on there because the engine is a fundamental part of the car. So it is Aston Martin Mercedes, is it? Okay. Yeah, so pretty much whoever your engine supplier is. So from next year, 2026, it will be Red Bull Ford, I imagine, is what the name will be. Aston Martin, Aramco, Mercedes. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much because of their engine provider, basically. They get to be put on there. I don't think anyone's using the Renault engines at the moment, are they? It's just Alpine using the Renault engines. Haas. What's Haas's full name? Maybe you guys can enlighten me. Surely they've got Ferrari in their name as well, haven't they? What's Haas's full name? Haas F1. Is it literally Haas Ferrari, or is it like MoneyGram Haas F1 team? They don't have Ferrari in the name, do they? MoneyGram Haas Ferrari, is it? But yeah, that's basically the same principle. So you could check it if you want. Oh, okay, fair enough. Rich. Rich Energy Harsh car. Yeah, remember that? But yeah, what an interesting race we have in store for tomorrow's guys. So we were wrong. My predictions were wrong. My predictions before this race were before this qualifying session was that we were going to see Charles Leclerc on pole position with Norris in P2 and Piastri P3. I got half of them. I got 2 of them in the top 3. But yeah, Charles Leclerc being in P4 and Sainz in P5. I did not expect, guys. I did not expect to see them in P4 and P5. Oh, what's happened to the concurrent viewers? Why are we shooting up in viewers all the time? I mean, welcome everyone. Subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, what a qualifying session that was. Verstappen though dug deep. He found something in between FP3 and he found something between FP3 and where was it? FP3 and QUALI. They definitely unlocked something. Definitely unlocked something. And Aston Martin go from top to bottom in the span of a year. Well, their development's just been very poor. They've been very, very poor, Aston Martin. They've got upgrades here this week as well, which quite evidently aren't doing the trick. I wonder if Ferrari took a better setup decision to make race pace better. Maybe, Connor, but I think you're giving up a lot in qualifying around a track that's known to be difficult to overtake on. To give up arguably pole position, which I think is what they would have been aiming for today. To give up 3 positions ahead of you on a track that's difficult to overtake on for race pace, I don't know. Seems to be, if they have done, it's not worked out well for them. But I think this track is very much like driver dependent as well. This track is, we know that there's a lot of new gravel traps. We've seen drivers go off, hit the gravel. We saw Perez obviously losing FP3, go out in Q2. Alonso not make it out and bin it as well. So maybe it can be just with how tight qualifying is now as well. It can, one small mistake can be the difference between you being on pole position and being down in 5th place, 4th place like Charles Leclerc. So what about when Red Bull make their own engine? What will be Ford making their engine? And supposedly the rumours are it's not going well, which is why the rumours are that Max Verstappen's camp are eyeing up other options elsewhere for 2026. That's when Ford will be put into the car, and Honda, they won't be using Honda engines anymore. So that's why, there's been strong rumours, of course, of Mercedes and Max, because who dominated the last engine reg changes? Mercedes. So when will Sauber score points? When they're Audi in a couple of years' time. This is a quality track, yeah. I mean, I'm still interested for the race tomorrow. I still think the McLarens, where they're strong in that last sector, as we've just looked at with the top speed, there's only they're not down on top speed on the Red Bull whatsoever. It's going to be tough for Max to defend tomorrow from those McLarens. We're in for a race. Definitely in for a race. Wherever Ferrari did, they need more quality pace. Yeah. Hang on. Charles Leclerc said the first couple of corners, turn 2, 3 and 4 is where they lost pace. So the first couple of corners is where they struggled, and they need to understand why they lost time there. So that's what Charles just said. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like that, doesn't it, Connor? So, Lando Norris to the win tomorrow because McLaren looking contest, unlike my Mercedes, that shit. Exactly. Imagine being they're a customer team. They're a customer team, and they have got, they're being, like, your customer is just absolutely trouncing the floor of you at the moment. Imagine that. I sent the top speed deltas between DRS and no DRS in Discord. Oh, did you? Let's have a quick look. That's my Discord. Hang on. Where have you put it? Oh, okay. This is interesting. We can have a look at this. So, what have we got detailed here? So this is the DRS delta. So, okay. So with DRS and without DRS, yeah. This is what we're looking at. So you can see there. Pass. I've got a big improvement. So you can see RB. Where's Red Bull? Oh wow, yeah. Red Bull's slower. Oh, Jesus, yeah, Red Bull. Max is going to be absolutely looking in his rearview mirrors tomorrow, isn't he? Of those two McLarens. If that's any indication. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. That is definite. Imagine your own customer team doing good than your own. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, no, welcome you. We had a big bump up in viewership just now, so if you're just tuning into the stream, thank you very much. Yeah, unfortunately, you've joined right at the end when qualifying has finished. If you are just joining us, please, we'll be back tomorrow for the race watch along. So please hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. We have Verstappen, Piastri, and Norris are your top three. Only less than 1 tenth separating them from this qualifying session. Verstappen found something between FP3 and qualifying that really suited the car and was just able to dig deep in that first sector. Helped with a very big toe from Nico Hülkenberg. Potentially without that toe, he might not have been on pole position, and we could be having a very different conversation here with the two McLarens lining up on that front row with Max behind. But regardless, he did get it. He dug deep, and he is on pole position after struggling in all of the practice sessions. But tomorrow, it does look like that Red Bull doesn't quite have the top speed. It is only quick for the first sector, doesn't have the top speed, and the McLarens are 2 tenths quicker in that last sector where they can really close up the gap, get DRS, and have an opportunity at that Red Bull of Max down into the primary overtaking position at EMILIA into turn 2. So Charles Leclerc and Sainz in 4th and 5th. Not great performances from them, as we were just discussing. Maybe made some setup changes or didn't adapt to the changing conditions, which is why they struggled in the first sector. That's where they lost all their time. Similar to the McLarens, they're pretty good on a similar pace in the middle and last sector. But Oscar Piastri is being investigated for impeding Kevin Magnussen in the first qualifying session. Magnussen was unable to set a lap time. Because of that, he is out. So potentially, unfortunately, Piastri, most likely, I do suspect for him to get a 3-place grid penalty, which will drop him down to behind Carlos Sainz. So it'll be a shame for him. But Russell in P6, Tsunoda, really, really good for him. I think he sounded a bit disappointed he got P7, actually. But yeah, great performance from him. Hamilton in P8, just, yeah, not liking the Mercedes at all. Looking forward to 2025. Ricciardo, great performance from him getting into Q3. Knocked out Sergio Perez, who is in P11. That was kind of the big shock, really, of this whole qualifying session, was that Perez couldn't, on pace alone, get out of Q2 into Q3. So, yeah, Nico Hülkenberg probably just happy to be in Q3, out qualifying his teammates substantially again. Do I think Piastri can get his first win? If he doesn't get a grid place penalty for impeding. If he doesn't get that. Grid penalty, yes, so he'll get a 3-place grid penalty for impeding. That's just the rule, isn't it? That's just the rule. So you can join the Discord. Yeah, link will be in the description below for the Discord. I think it is. So you can join the Discord there. If you're sim racers, if you're just F1 fans, yeah, we chat F1, we chat sim racing, all things going on. And I'm active in there as well, so you get to speak to me directly. I need to cover the Usyk Fury fight. I will be tuning into that tonight, but yeah, no, I'm not really a boxing commentator. I'll just be like, oh, he's hit him. Oh, he's blocked that. Oh, this is boring. They're just dancing around each other, you know, like most heavyweight fights are. So thanks, David. Yes. So we'll be back tomorrow, guys. We will be back tomorrow. The race is on at 2:00, I believe. So it's a nice time for us here in the UK. The start of this season has been me getting up mostly at silly o'clock in the morning. So we've got the race tomorrow at 2:00. So I'll be going live at past. I may even go live 45 minutes early at 1/4 the hour before the race starts. We have Monaco the week after. So that's next week with, similar times, 3:00 qualifying. Practice will be at the same time, 11:30, and then the Grand Prix. Then we have Canada a couple of weeks afterwards, where I'm actually on holiday. I'm actually on holiday for Canada, but I'm going to try and see if there's like maybe something I can do remote. If not, we'll be back for Spain, which will be afterwards. But is anyone saying anything relative on Twitter? Verstappen got slipstream across the entire start-finish straight from Hulkenberg in Q3. That probably made the difference. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are tweeting. So we could have had a very different front row if it wasn't for that toe. Interesting. Do we think McLaren will win it tomorrow? I do. It wouldn't surprise me if Norris gets his second wing in a row. I do. Would love for Piastri catching a win. Yeah, I just think he's going to get that grid place penalty. Look, the interesting thing tomorrow is if you're sitting here looking at Max being on P1 again, 100% record of pole positions, I get that. I get how it looks. But let's look at the finer details. Piastri and Norris were less than a tenth behind Verstappen. Verstappen got a substantial toe down the start-finish straight from Hulkenberg, which potentially made the difference with such a fine margin. He was always quicker in the first sector anyway. But his top speed isn't great compared to the McLarens. And the McLarens are very quick in the last sector. So when it comes to a race where Max is out front with no DRS and the McLarens are close behind Max, which I think they will do. I think they'll stay close to Max. They'll have DRS with that extra top speed advantage with the DRS down into turn 2, and I think we will at least see a McLaren go side by side with Max Verstappen down into turn 2, and then we know Max will get his elbows out, something may happen, drama will unfold, or maybe Norris will Piastri will just breeze past whoever it ends up being behind Max. Also, Max doesn't have the support of Perez tomorrow, so the Ferraris are also good on race pace. I don't think the Ferraris are slouches by any means with their upgrades, and I do think the top 5 are going to be very close racing tomorrow, and Max is up there on his own. Whereas you've got the two McLarens who can do... The McLaren can do something different with one of their drivers to force Max into and Red Bull into something. Likewise with Ferrari, they can also force others' hands. Whereas Perez is down in P11 and he can't support. And that's the idea of Perez, is to be that number 2 driver and to be there in support of Max. But when this actually happens, and this is where the Red Bull become vulnerable. So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, and I think it's don't think it's going to be plain sailing for Max. Really don't whatsoever. And also DRS now, guys, is activated after 1 lap of racing. We don't have to wait 2 laps anymore, so it's not like Max has an opportunity to pull out a second gap on a track that only is 1 minute 20 seconds, 21 seconds. Quite a short lap time in race trim. So yeah, I think very quickly he's going to be looking in his rearview mirrors at those McLarens tomorrow, and I can't wait. Can't wait. Why is nobody talking about Alonso? Yeah, I don't know what happened with Alonso. Look, is it a coincidence that the 2 drivers who crashed in FP3 also didn't have great qualifying sessions? I don't think it is. I think this very much is a confidence track. The fact of it, they've added a number of gravel traps now and removed the concrete runoff areas. These drivers know that they can only go to a physical limit of the circuit. They can't go beyond that anymore. And the fact of it, Alonso and Perez got bits in FP3 by their mistakes. I think it affected them in in qualifying, especially as they just went straight from FP3 after. So their last memory of getting in the car was crashing, to then next getting in the car and they've got to go as fast as possible. I think that has effect on them, even the best drivers in the world, especially someone like Alonso. And I think that's why we saw Alonso make a mistake again through turn 3 and 4 going off, and yeah, and why we saw Perez maybe just hold back a little bit, which he can't afford to do with how close qualifying is now. Hopefully P1 and P2. It could happen tomorrow. Could happen. Do I think Mercedes? Oh, what? The McLaren Mercedes, mate. Yeah? The McLaren Mercedes. Because Mercedes is in their name. Can't wait for the upcoming race. Could be lots of flags. Yes, yeah, could be as well. I think the thing is as well, tomorrow, the drivers have to be very careful about leaving room, I think, because if they go side by side, there's a number of corners here, as we just mentioned, gravel traps and stuff. If they push someone off the circuit, then they might get a penalty for it. I think the stewards are going to potentially have to be on the board tomorrow. I think they're going to be quite busy with side-by-side action tomorrow, because if a driver gets forced off, of course there's gravel, they'll lose a lot of places. In turn, that could also make a lot of drivers hold back a little bit, because they know that if they go for a move on the outside, they're not necessarily entitled to the room, and it means that they could lose more positions than they actually gain. So yeah. Wait, ain't no way V-carb in 2Q3s. Oh yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. Money prediction is no one touches the top 5 without a DNF. Yeah, I don't see the top 5 changing, no. And I see the top 5 being very close as well, very close. But guys, if you could, just a little pause here. If I could ask you guys to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, it'd be much appreciated. And if you haven't hit the like button as well, please hit the like button. Can we get 20 more subs? Can we get 20 more subs to get to 22,100? That'd be great. That'd be great. Well, there was a question here. Someone said, do I think Tsunoda can get a good position, and maybe the same for Daniel? I think Tsunoda's race genuinely tomorrow is against George Russell. It's to try and get a top 6. I do think the AlphaTauri, and this is crazy that I'm even saying this. It's crazy that I'm even saying this. I do think that the V-carbs are on pace with the Mercedes this weekend, at least in Tsunoda's hands. Maybe not in Daniel Ricciardo's hands, but I think Tsunoda could be looking at pressuring George Russell tomorrow. And maybe Danny Ricciardo could pressure Hamilton. The Mercedes just aren't at the races. Again, how often am I saying that in this regulation set? But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why the V-carb cars can't finish in the top 10 tomorrow whatsoever. Hamilton waiting to finish this year? Yeah, of course he is, yeah. Kevin is 2 points away from a race ban. He is indeed. Yeah, he is. So he needs to be careful. He needs to be on his best behaviour. Race ban would only be for a single race. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Is Piastri getting a penalty? We're still waiting to find out. There's been no... I'm keep refreshing Twitter. And there's no indication yet of... there's no indication yet of him being issued a penalty. It looks like the stewards are quite busy, actually. So I'm just having a look through now. Looks like Dan Magnussen and Ricciardo are being brought in. Yeah, nothing yet, guys. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if it comes through. But it seems like that they're quite busy, it looks like. So I'm just reading some comments. Hamilton reporting. I think we've always known that the Mercedes engine is not a problem. The engine's great. The guys continue to have amazing jobs in terms of developing that technology. Yeah, it's just the aero. They're fucked up in it. Charles Leclerc's post-quali team radio. Fuck that. Fuck that. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. So Piastri in the first qualifying session through turns 2 and 3 just went a little bit too slow. He pulled over to the side here of turn 3, which is a chicane, but that meant that yeah. So even Sky Sports, sorry guys, bit of different train of thought here. So they're analysing on Sky Sport Verstappen's lap with Piastri, and they're even making mention of the toe that Verstappen got of Nico Hülkenberg, whereas Piastri didn't get any toe whatsoever. So they are indicating that there is a benefit there, but was made by him getting that toe. But hey ho, that's the deal with open qualifying. Sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't. Just saw Toto's interview for tomorrow. He expects McLaren to be the fastest. There is always a Verstappen factor. First time he said words, Dr. Marco. Is he eventually flirting? Yeah, I think that's the case. There is a Max we know is never an easy person to pass. If they go side by side with Max into turn 2, you know damn well he's going to use everything in his arsenal that is available to him to hold on to that position. Because the only place realistically you can overtake someone, you can overtake them down into turn 2. That's the primary position. You can, if you're close enough, try and maybe make a lunge into turn 7. We've seen people overtake into turn 15 as well, into the chicane. So there's every section of the track is possible to overtake on. However, most likely the primary overtaking opportunity is down into turn 2 with DRS. It will be activated as well. So yeah, I'd love to see Lando. I do want to see Lando and Max go side by side. Like, we're now getting to that point where Lando's going to have the same car in performance as Max has, and we're going to see them go wheel to wheel potentially. And I can't wait to see how that plays out. Kumos Q1 and Q2, who are the top 3s? You can see this here. The grid now is the grid for tomorrow, barring a post-qualifying penalty from Oscar Piastri because of potential impeding of Kevin Magnussen. So Oscar Piastri is asked, does he think McLaren can win tomorrow? I think yes. I think normally in the past we say no, but I think with our recent performances, we've learned to say yes. So even the team believes. Even the team believes. Yeah. It was exciting to see Ollie in the Haas. Yeah, get used to seeing more of Ollie Behrman this year. Obviously, we've already seen him in a Ferrari. He's doing all 6 of the rookie practice sessions in this season, which I think pretty much indicates he's going to be in F1 for next year. I think that his Ferrari performance in Saudi kind of solidified that. He's very highly rated anyway. Before that, he's their reserve driver as well. And with Hulkenberg leaving, I think... yeah, that's at least one of those seats is Ollie Behrman's. I do think Magnussen will be replaced next year, and they'll get someone who's a bit more experienced. I don't think they'll go for a brand new rookie lineup. They've done that before and it didn't work. I think they'll want to go rookie, experienced driver. Is there a chance for Lando? Of course there is. Floor tray for an F2 car was 20k in 1919. How much do you think the floor tray for F1 in 2024? How much are they? They're expensive. They are expensive. Oh, someone told me. They're very expensive. Very expensive. I'm almost going to say, I think 800,000. I think 800,000. Because the floor is such an essential part of F1 now. Could be even more than that, actually. Wouldn't surprise me if it's even more than that, the floor. Have we seen an improvement from Alpine? Yes. Yeah, I mean, look, they're getting through to Q2 now, comfortably. They're still not where they want to be. They'd love to be where B-Carb is, of course, or where the Mercedes are. But yeah, they are moving in the right direction. We'll see where they are by the end of the season, if they've recovered anything. But yeah, not great to be Ocon and Gasly at the moment. You'd be thinking that they'd be looking up and down the grid at different options as well. I think behind the scenes, it's not looking great at the moment at Alpine. It's very uncertain. I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't in F1 in 2026 either. I mean, it's never great when you've got like a multi-consortium of like when you've got a consortium of like loads of different athletes investing in the team. It doesn't really like bode well, if you ask me. So Leclerc didn't get his title. Yeah. Which teams have upgraded this weekend? Well, Aston Martin have some. Ferrari have the biggest. Mercedes have a couple. I don't know who else. V-Carb definitely don't. Red Bull don't, I think. I think they brought them last time around. And I don't know about the rest of the teams. Gasly was scams. Yeah, look, I think McLaren. I think the summary is tomorrow, guys, is that McLaren are definitely, while they're not in pole position for this race tomorrow, I would almost say they're in pole position for this race, because I actually don't think it's going to take them long to get past Max tomorrow. I don't think it's going to take them long, and I'm really excited for that. I really am excited. But yeah, no, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure, this qualifying stream. Over 2,000 viewers. We still have 800 of you in here listening to my waffle, so I do appreciate that. Never thought in a million years that I'd sit here and just be able to chat to so many of you, and for so many of you to listen to what we're discussing and chatting. So yeah, these watch-alongs get bigger and better, and that's all thanks to you guys. So yeah, if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please hit that subscribe button. I'm sure, come on, there's got to be 12 of you. I'm going to ask one more time. There's got to be 12 of you in here who haven't hit the subscribe button already and can get that number at the top of your screen up to 22,100. That'd be amazing. Rewatching K-Mag and Piastri, really not sure where Piastri could have gone with a track so tight there. But yeah, hurt K-Mag, but they may get away with a team fine with 20 cars on track. Yeah, I need to see it again, Warren. I do need to see it again. It didn't look good upon first viewing. You would argue that his team, Magnussen will probably be arguing, well, look, his team should have told him to speed up and get out of that chicane, get out of turns 2, 3, and 4, and then let him pass. He like slowed at the kind of the incorrect, the wrong part of the track. I really hope he doesn't. For the sake of the race tomorrow, I really hope he doesn't get a penalty. But yeah, also wouldn't be surprised if he does get one, unfortunately. So, any news on the Piastri? Yeah, let's have a look, one more look before I go anywhere. Still gives 3 more of you an opportunity to subscribe. Trying to find it. Oh, by the way, Valtteri Bottas was spotted leaving the Williams Hospitality Building. Autosport understands Bottas had a 15-minute meeting with James Vowles. Hi, Valtteri, it's James. Hi, Valtteri, it's James. No, doesn't seem like there's anything yet. Doesn't seem like there's anything yet. I'm just looking at Piastri again. Searched it into Twitter. I'm looking at the onboard of Magnussen again. Oh, that doesn't look good. I've watched that again. Doesn't look great. Yeah, it really doesn't look great. I'd be more surprised upon looking at that now if Piastri doesn't get a penalty than if he does. Which is a real shame. But hey, 22,100. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Mwah. Mwah. Love you all. Even those who are still thinking about subscribing and haven't subscribed. We'll be back on Super Formula. We miss you on the grid. Lewis, I have some bad news. I've had some tech issues recently, some hardware issues, and yeah, I've lost a lot of safety rating, and I just got demoted to C license, which I'm really embarrassed to admit and say, but I can't hide it. So yeah, it's going to be a little while till I'm back in B license, but I'm going to do some F1 races, some tour races to get that back. So hopefully it won't be long till I'm back in B license. But yeah, man, I really miss sponsor blocks skipping the please subscribe sections. Guess that's the downside of live streams. Yeah, that you don't ask, you don't get, Felix. At the end of the day, don't ask, you don't get. Ferrari's pace got washed away in qualifying. Could there be another Japan where Ferrari beat McLaren with good race pace? Potentially, yeah. I mean, Charles said that it was in turns 2, 3, and 4, which is where he lost all the time. So I still think the race pace would be good. Ferrari did look good in the practice sessions with their race pace. So yeah, I think tomorrow is going to be... I don't think Ferrari is going to go anywhere tomorrow. So, which team do I reckon Valtteri will be going for 2025? I don't know. I mean, it's intriguing that he's having a discussion with Valtteri Bottas there, because you would have thought that Kimi Antonelli was... All the rumours are Kimi Antonelli going to Williams. I think Bottas is out of a seat at Stake F1, so I think he definitely needs to... It might just be Bottas having discussions with team principals that he has relationships with to gauge whether or not there's a seat available for him. Of course, James Vowles, he has that relationship with James at Mercedes for so many years, and of course he was a former Williams driver before he went to Mercedes. So I'm not reading too much into that. He has to obviously get around and ask others for seats, but it wouldn't surprise me if Bottas is not on the grid next year. That's what I think. It wouldn't surprise me. At least for 2026, he's not on the grid for 2026. That's my thinking. So, yeah. But, yeah. Right, guys. I am going to leave it there. Let's change to see my big old face. There we go. There we go. I just want to say a big thank you once again for this qualifying. So, yes, tomorrow is going to be a very, very intriguing one. While Max Verstappen is on pole. It wasn't as simple as it has been in the past. So only 7 tenths between Piastri and Verstappen, and 9 hundredths and 700ths of a second between the two McLarens from Max Verstappen. And they seem to be better in race trim than the Red Bull. So tomorrow, I think Max going to have his work cut out for him. Definitely. So... And he said their coffee is better. That's a great response, isn't it, though? That's a great response. If rules are becoming a bit like kindergarten, I feel like sometimes it's ridiculous. Yeah, Connor. Yeah, we had that, Condor, sorry, we had that. I've had that discussion on the Missed Apex podcast. We spoke about the racing rules and stuff, and it's just... There's a lack of consistency, and also the rules aren't proper and set up for racing, if you ask me. There's a lot more that they could do to simplify it, which would make the racing better. And make everyone, the viewer, and make the drivers know where they stand on the racetrack and when they go racing. But yeah, it's a bit too overcomplicated for unnecessary reasons. But yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, Destiny. So yes, guys, if you're... I'm going to go set up the stream post this stream right now. And yeah, you can go there and... you can hit notifications on the stream. We'll be going live... I think I'm going to go live 45 minutes before the race tomorrow, so 1:15, which is UK time, of course. So 45 minutes before the race starts, wherever you are in the world. But if you turn your notifications on, you'll get a notification from YouTube of when I'm 30 minutes before I go live. So yeah, big thank you once again. Over 22,100 subs, more likes, more viewers. We keep growing. So yes, Max on pole once again. That 100% record. I think the race is going to be a very different story, and I'm really excited for it. So yes, join me tomorrow, 1:15, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.